So, sorry. Um, Last time we finished the section about so I think we finished until configuring the data until we finish with the SQL things, okay? And we want to access the data. Oh, by the way, I updated the PowerPoint file. Okay. So please download again the new PowerPoint that I just uploaded. So this is the new version. So please download the new version in the e-class. And also, I think it's the time to decide the theme project. So please build your theme project. I think some of you already built the theme project, but some of you have not built your theme project. So you have time until Monday. Okay. Please try to build your team until Monday. If you are not able to build your team, please let me know. And I will give you some details about what you're going to do on the team project on Monday. But before you do something for the team project, please build your own team first until Monday. Okay. That's the first, and then okay, I hope that you already got your new PowerPoint. So let me try to run the manage.py task. Okay. As I mentioned to you, we are going to use the Python shell. So how to use the Python shell is using the run manage.py.task. It means we are using the tool. Okay. So this is the PyCharm environment. I hope that you already opened the PyCharm. And then you can go to tools, and then you can see there's one option here, run manage.py task. Okay, so when you click this one, then you will go to one panel, and this is the manage.py at big project. So the project name is big project, and I want to execute something in the manage.py. So manage.py is a kind of file manager, and everything will be in the Python library under the setting environment. So the setting environment here, as you already know, in the first part of the PowerPoint, we already set up like the OS, okay? And then we set up about the hosts that we are going to use, and then what kind of application that we are going to use. So in Django, they already set the basic application like this one. And then yeah, they use the middleware and so on. So the manage.py actually is a main method. If you understand the Python, it has a main method, and the main method will be the first file or the first function to be executed to run the program in Django. That's why we are running the manage.py, and inside the Django, there are many commands. So like what you already did last time, migrate, okay, or SQL migrate, or you can make migration. Okay? So you can run in this environment with one single command. Anyway, we are going to use shell. Okay. There will be a panel. There will be a panel like this one. This acts as permission, and then so you can see this one running shell in separate window. So you can open the console and you can see now this is the shell environment. So here we are using the Django manage shell. Okay, so here in the bottom part, you can see some option like problems. The problem means, yeah, you can see if there is any problem when you execute the Django. Manage.py is the environment to execute any commands from the library in Django. The terminal is the same with the command prompt. If you are familiar with Python, you know, like the Anaconda prompt, or you know about the command prompt. Oh, oh, only Anaconda. Okay, anyway, yeah, there's a command prompt and then Anaconda prompt. So this is same with that kind of prompt. Okay. And we can execute inside the PyCharm. And the Python console is the console. If you can see this one, this is similar with the terminal, but once you open the console, it will connect to the Django environment with some Django code. Okay? Or this is like the IPython, or if you are using the Jupyter notebook. So this environment is similar with that one. But there is limitation. For example, you cannot show the visualization. You can only write the code here. And every time you write your code, it will show the result. So the service is only how to execute, for example, the schema, DB schema. Here is the FAQ question, FAQ's choice, and then what you write in the console, it will be shown here. Anyway, we are going to use this shell. This is the Python shell. And let's do the first one. I already put all the contents here. Okay. So in this case, you can type or you can copy and paste. Let me just type for you. So we are going to use from. From means you want to get a file or some files from particular files. For example, I want to get from the models. So the model is inside the folder FAQ. But then this is the environment under the big project. Okay. So the big project here, we have two folders, which is big project and FAQ. Now I want to access the FAQ.models, and then I want to import. We have two classes. In the models.py, we have two classes. The first class is question, and the other class is choice. So we can just say that I would like to import question and choice. Then after you run this statement, you will see on the right panel that, okay, you have choice, and there are some information about the choice, especially about the object and etc. So Django already have those library to see this kind of thing. So we have choice, we have question, and if there is any special variable that you want to execute, so the Django show it on the right panel. Okay, So the first time, I think let's just see the very simple query using the Python code. We are using the question objects dot all, and then make the brackets. It means I want to see all the contents, all the contents. What is the contents? So I want to see all objects or all instances in the table question. Then you will see there is one object where is neighbor. So if you check when you are in the database section, so you see in the FAQ question, this is, if you can see here, I use big Q to represent the class question. However, in the database, they use the folder name, which is FAQ, and other bar question Q with small q. So this is the database version. And then when you click this one, you have one data, which is where is neighbor. Okay. So the object here, because you already designed with the model here, you have one question text. Okay, so you want to make it as a string, so that's why we can see the object. The object here is where is neighbor. So it is clear that it is a text, and then the text is from this attribute. Now let's do the second one. The second one, we have choice. Okay? So we want to check what is inside the choice. Objects all. And you can see that in the choice, there is one object. And there is no information about what is this object. So we have only object one. If you open the FAQ choice, you can see there is one choice, and this choice contains one string, which is please find the URL. But the Python code here didn't show about the text. Why? Because we are not defining any string for the choice. Okay? So we just define the string for the table question. That's why we can see only the object number. So later we will see with other example. If you put more examples, or if you put more instances, then it will show object 1, object 2, object 3, for example. Okay. So here we want to get all the objects, because now we have only one, then we can see only one data. In this case, we want to see all the objects in the table choice, because we have only one, so the result is only one. Now, what we want to do next is about the query. Okay, this is a very important function in query. Here, at least four. Okay. C, R, U, and T. So C means create, R means read, U means update, and D means delete. This is the four basic functions in any computer programming. Okay. So if you already joined the data structure, so we will learn how to insert a new data, or how to create a new data, and then how to read the data, and then how to modify or update data, and how to delete data. Okay. Those basic function is very famous, especially in the DB. So if it is implemented in the database, we will call it as CRUD. And different implementation will have different syntax. SQL is for the database, and then HTTP is for the internet or the hypertext transfer protocol. And in other domain, we have like the data distribution service. So I make a kind of summary. If it is created or if you want to make a new data in the SQL, you will use insert. In the HTTP, I think we will learn about this one next week. We will use put or push. I think I will not discuss this one in detail, but you can take a look if you need this DDS. For the data distribution service, we will use write. If you want to retrieve or read, you will use select. So we already saw in our Python, we want to get the data. So we will just use select star from table name. In the HTTP, we will use get. For the update and modify, in the SQL, we will use the command update. In the HTTP, we will use put or push or fetch. For the delete, we use the same command, which is delete. Okay, so the DDS is another service, is another kind of system. So I will not discuss in detail. Yeah, if you want to know more about the CRUD in Django, you will just go to this link. Okay? There are many information about the CRUD. So I'm just using the very basic CRUD in this PowerPoint. Okay? If you want to know more, you can access this link. So for example, okay, yeah, in the question, in the table question, I put the str, as I mentioned to you, the str, because the result in the shell is not well represented when you saw the object one. So when we go to another example, you can see also later object two, and then something which is not easy to understand. So we will make this kind of function to understand what is inside the table question, what is inside the table choice, and so on. Now, I want to put at least one. Okay, so you already have this one in the models. Okay, in the models.py, you already have the str. So the str is the string function, and then whenever we select the data, you will see the question text. Okay. Now I want to make one more function, was published recently. And then in the choice, I would like to make one function which is about the string. And then whenever I do the SQL, I would like to see the text. This is the choice text. Okay. So let's put this one. Okay. I hope you can follow me. So because we already have the string function for the question, and you don't need to do this one, but the second one, let's put it on the models. And in the models, you already have the string for the table question, and then you will have another function in the table question. Okay. Now you can see there is one error. There is one error about date time. What is this error? We can check this one. Oh yeah, we need to import this name. So if you go to my code here, okay, I have one import actually, okay, about the date time. please input this one into your system. So we have import date time. If you import the date time, then now the errors in the date time disappear. And the next is about the choice. I want to add a string function in the choice. So let me just type, okay. So the string function is str underbar underbar, and then you need to type self. Okay. If you understand the concept of the object-oriented programming in the Python, we will always use one argument, self. Whenever we have the function, we need to define self. So the self means we want to get any value from that particular instance. So we have self dot choice dot text. We want to get the choice text whenever we want to access the table. Okay. After you modify these models, you need to run again the make migration, and then you need to migrate, and then restart the shell. So that's why whenever you design the model, please make sure that you already have a good model. After you have a good model, then you do not need to update every time. But it's okay. It's also okay if you think that you want to build your first model and then you update something and then do again make migration, migrate, and this one. So I will use the manage.py. I will use this manage.py. I can make migration. So in this case, I know that my application name is FAQ. Okay, so it's better to define this app name because later part we may have many applications. So if we make this one, then we want to execute this FAQ models, and okay, no changes. And then after you do this one, and then you can do migrate. So after you do this migrate, it shows the operation in the FAQ. There is something new that we add here because we are adding the string and we are adding one function here. Now I would like to run again the shell. So we will go back to this environment. Okay, can you follow me? So let me stop for a few seconds. Okay, thank you for your chat. Okay, I think everything is good now. Now we will do something with the CRUD, C-R-U-D. Before we go to the Django, I think it's better for you to know about the syntax in the Python, how to add and how to modify the data. Okay. Because once you already put in the Python file, the line will be so many and you may confuse with all those syntax. So let's try to understand the concept one by one. So every time you try to access the model, you need to call import question and choice, because I already have the above statement in the line 2. Yeah, I just want you to know that we can do this one every time, because sometimes if you restart the shell, then the memory cannot remember what is your previous statement. So the statement, this one, is to import in the question and the choice from the table. And then, I make this one in the order. So let's go to the second one. I would like to make a time zone. So the time zone means this is one library in Django. So if I copy and paste from this one, okay, then you will see that from Django.utils import time zone, and then you can see like dot here, no problem. Okay. So you can just press enter. And then let's make a new object. Okay. I have Q. Okay, let me type this one. Okay, I can clear all. Okay, it's better for here. You can see. I would like to make a new object Q. So I hope until this state, you understand about object oriented in the Python. If you don't understand, if you forgot about the object oriented, please review about those materials. So I want to make a new object from the class question. And then I would like to put the question text will be the value of, for example, what's new. Okay. So there will be a string, and the string will be what's new in the question text. And then the publication date, let the publication date equals to the time zone dot now. Okay. Once you click enter, then you will have one object which is Q. Okay. And I give you one more statement which is save. So once you make an object, you need to save in order to put the data, or you put this object into your database. If you don't do the save, the object will not be stored in your database. So after you have this save, if you open the question, you will see the new. Okay. And then if I want to access the ID, okay, then you can just q.id. So I know that the Q is the new object, and it is an ID2. And then if I want to know the question text, okay, do not put the do not put the bracket, because bracket means function. Okay, but I just want to know what is the content. Here I want to know what is the question text, and now we can get what's new. And then if I want to know the publication date, pub date. So if you, okay, you can try. Okay, if I put the parenthesis, or if I put the bracket, what happened? It will be error, because why? In this case, bracket is a function. We do not have the function public. Okay, we do not have the function public, so it's error. So if you want to access the data, you can just use the variable name. We know the variable name is public. You will get 2021, the year. 4 is the month. 1 is the first April, which is today. And then now it's 10 o'clock. Okay, 10:02:41. So this is the minute, this is the hour, this is the minute, this is the second, and then this is the millisecond. Okay, because we are already setting the environment with the Korean time, so this is based on the Korean time. If you use the UTC, then the time will be the UTC. Next, let's suppose I want to change this question. You all know that this question is what's new. So I can just use the object. What is the object? The object is Q. And then I want to modify the text, and the text, let the text becomes a new string. What's up? Yeah, okay, what's up like this. And once you make this new object, or once you modify, don't forget to save. So save is a function. It means once you have a new update, or once you have a new information, you want to save it into the database. In this case, if you run this FAQ question, now it becomes what's up. Okay, so the data here now becomes what's up. And then if you check again from the question, objects, all, I want to know all the objects from the table question. Now you can see there are two objects, and the first object is neighbor, and the other object is what's up. And let's see if I want to see the choice objects and all. Oh, still choice one. Why? Okay, let me check later. Maybe there's one. Okay. Something wrong with this one. Let me check. So last week I had a problem with the shell. If you still remember, oh, not last week, last Monday. Okay, so on Monday I had one problem about the shell. So it was about the okay. So I just want to let you know, whenever you have errors, please don't panic. Okay? Please don't be so worried. There will be a solution about your error. Okay. So in my computer, I don't know why it does not contain any anaconda in the Wangyong Byunsu. So last week I modified this environment, and then the shell works well. Okay. So if you have any issues with the shell, I think you can also see, you can also check whether your environment already contain the anaconda file or not. Okay, so this is the first section about adding or modifying the data. Now, how if we want to read the data? Okay, so the first time, yeah, let me just clear up. In the first, you know that we need to get the models, okay, and then there are two table, question and choice. Okay, because we already did this one, I think you don't need to do this one. Okay, you know how to do this one. You know how to do this statement. We want to get the question and we want to get the choice from the FAQ models. And then the second one, we want to get the function time zone from the Django. Okay. Now, we can also do something with create. Okay. So this create, oh, sorry, I guess it is not about the read the data, but this is about the creation of the data. This is another create, sorry. Okay. Now I have an object which is Q2. So this is another way to create the data. I can make a question objects, and then I can use create. And the create will contain the variable. And now, for example, just what's your favorite pet? Okay. And then I would like to input the publication date, which is the time zone dot now. So it means the current time. So if you have this one, once you click, now it shows directly. Okay. Then, do you know the difference between this create and this create? So in this first part, whenever you create the object, whenever you create one data, and if you use the basic OOP, object-oriented programming in Python, you need to save manually. Okay? But when you use the Django objects, in this case, I'm using the objects from the Django. Whenever we use the function create, okay, this is the function create, it will automatically put your data into the database without doing any save. So you can just question objects.all, and you will see there are 3 objects. Where is neighbor, what's up, and what's your favorite pet? So without doing the save, you will see that this already in your database. And next, oh, okay, I think I need to a little bit speed up. In the views.py later on, you need to do something to read the data and to show it in the HTML. So this is some of the comments or some of the syntax that you can use to read the data. For example, here let me just quick, okay, objects dot filter. Filter means I want to just use one particular ID, for example, or I want to find a particular name, or I want to find a particular content. So in this case, I would like to find the ID equals to 1. And the result will be, where is neighbor? If I want to question objects, filter, PK. PK means the primary key. Okay. So you will get also neighbor. If you have the question that objects that filter, and then I want to know the question tags, but I do not know what is the detail. So I would like to know if the string starts with means if the content of the string starting with what? Okay, there are 2. What's up and what's your favorite pet? If you see this data, there are 3. Okay, where is neighbor, what's up, and what's your favorite pet? So everything starting with what will appear. So we use the start with. And then we use the separator, which is underbar, underbar. And let's use another comment, we have filter, and then I want to filter the question text when it contains head, for example. Okay, it means every string in the content should have HED. If we have HED, then show it. Okay, we know HED is in the what? Is in the what? So those two appears in the result. And there are still many about this one. Okay. For example, I want to know the question, objects, filter, and then I want to filter the question text that contain what, and I want to check all the values. Okay. I want to check all the values here. Oh, sorry, I guess I put this one. So we can see the result that the first object contains of ID 2, and then the question text is WhatsApp, and then the publication date is this one. And then the ID 3, question text is what's favorite pet, and then this is the date. And we have another way to read the data like the SQL. For example, I want to know only the objects, filter with the question text, and then if it contains what, and then the values, I do not want to see all the values, but I just want to see ID, and then I want to see the question text. So I just want to get only the 2 columns. You know, in the questions, there are 3 columns: ID, question text, and publication date. But I want to get only 2 columns. Then the result will be only 2 columns, ID and question text. ID and question text. You can also do a kind of filtering with the question, with the ID. For example, if I have objects filter ID, and the ID should be in. And I know the basic idea in Python, we use list, and the list here contains 1 entry. And I would like to check the data, which is the ID is 1 entry. So we will get the result, where is neighbor, which is the ID 1, and then what's your favorite pet, which is the ID 3. And then about the function cat. So in the first table, I explained about the function filter. Now let's go to the function cat. In the function cat, pk equals to 3. We want to get the primary key equals to 3. Then the result is what's your favorite pet. If I want to get the objects with the pk equals to 1, so the result will be where is neighbor, because we check this one, the primary key is 1, 2, and 3. Now I would like to know also the question, objects get, and I want to use the question text, where the question text is start with what? Oh, errors. What happened? So I give you this explanation. We want to select the objects, start with what, but error. Here is the error about I guess, okay, this is, I think I put the wrong comment. This one should be start with. Okay, this is the error message. Get function written more than one question. It return two. So can you understand what is this error means? In the filter, you can read the data more than one. So you can get the data, you can get only one data, or you can get more than one data. But the get statement, you need only to get one data. Okay? So there should be only one row, or there should be only one instance. You cannot get more than one. Whenever you check the filtering like this one, and if the object more than one, then it will go error. Okay, please remember that one. And then let's suppose I want to make it okay, I want to make a queue. Queue is an object. Question dot objects dot get pk equals to 1. It means I want to get the primary key 1 and then put it into the object queue. And let's suppose I want to know was published recently. Okay. Now I understand. I need to restart this one from the tools. I need to run the manage.py again, and then I need to do the shell. Oh, I think I need to close this one because it's not a crash. Oh, this one. I need to stop the console. Okay. So after you stop the console, I think this one will work. So you will do the shell before I do. Okay, so after you have the new console, you need to from FAQ models and then import question and choice, and then let's suppose I have the queue equal question dot objects dot get pk equals to 1, and then I want to queue was published. Yes, you can see now I can get the function. This is the function that I defined in the model. Okay, this is the function that I defined the model was published recently. So if you cannot get the function, it means you need to restart the shell. Maybe I didn't stop it as before, so that's why I cannot get the newest one. So this one now it shows false. Why? Because the function is to check what is the publication date. So if the publication date is greater than the time zone.now minus the time delta, which is the days equals to 1, then returns true. If not, then returns false. So now, what is now? April 1. Now it's April 1, and if you see the data in the question, now it was like 29 March. So it is more than 1. It's more than 1 day. How about if I change this one to, okay, you can just type, you can go to the upper side with the up button. Okay, let's see if I change to 3, and then what happened? Yeah, it is true because we just update the data recently. Okay. Let me check if I choose the choice objects dot all. Now you can see the text appears. Okay, the string here appears. Please find the URL. Before we just have object one, but now we can see the string. It means, yeah, you need to update the shell, or you need to refresh, you need to restart the shell in order to get the new version of the models. Okay, let's have a break. Okay, let's continue after the break.